Glad you're speaking out, because that's exactly what we need to do, is have a conversation, a reasonable conversation. This country needs to realize that we need to make sure that these guns are not in the hands of those who shouldn't have them. They need to be in the hands, and an AR-15 or an M16, same weapon, just a different designation, needs to be in the hands of the military or police only. High-capacity magazines have no place in the world of hunting. And what we need to do is make sure that people can protect themselves at home and protect their families, but we do not need to be throwing more guns out there on the streets to be used by criminals. And we need to have a framework, at least something set in place, that will tell our community and our country, this is not right. This is where we're going to live. Guns do not need to be out there. Like I can go buy a loaf of bread. It's insane to be able to do that. Nobody wants to come in and say that if I'm a depressed individual going through a rough time in life, you're going to take your guns away. But if you're talking to a therapist and you're saying, I'm going down to the theater or I'm going to church and I'm going to wreak havoc, that person does not need to have a gun or access to a gun. They should be having a background check. They should be, anybody who is a reasonable gun owner, which I am. I hunt. I went hunting this year. I harvested my deer. I'm happy to go through any background check, and I expect that any other gun owner in this country is going to go through the same background check that I am.
Dave, thank you very much for joining me, and indeed to you, Jessica. Anyone who's watched this show over the past few weeks knows I've taken a big strong stand on guns in America. Some get the notice of supporters of gun rights, and it's led to a petition on the White House official website, no less. It's entitled, and I quote, "Support British citizen Piers for attacking Second Amendment." Take a look, more than 104,000 people have signed it so far, and joining me now is one of the people behind the petition, Alex Jones, who's host of the Alex Jones Show. Welcome to you. Piers, thanks for having me. Why do you want to support me?
Well, we did it as a way to bring attention to the fact that we have all of these foreigners, and the Russian government, the official Chinese government, mounts that political power goes out of the barrel of a gun. He killed about 80 million people because he's the only guy that had the guns. So we did it to point out that this is globalism, and the mega banks that control the planet and brag that they've taken over, in Bloomberg, AP, Reuters, you name it, brag that they're going to get our guns as well. They've taken everybody's guns but the Swiss and the American people. And when they get our guns, they can have their world terrorists, while the government has 1.6 million bullets, armored vehicles, tanks, helicopters, Predator drones, armed, now in U.S. skies, being used to arrest people in North Dakota. The Second Amendment isn't there for duck hunting. It's there to protect us from tyrannical government and street thugs. Take the women in India. Her piece earlier on CNN I was watching, her Anderson Cooper show, didn't tell you that the women of India have signed giant petitions to get firearms because the police can't and won't protect them. The answer is, hey, wait a minute, I have FBI crime statistics that come out a year late, 2011. 20+% crime drop in the last 9 years. Real violent crime, because more guns means less crime. Britain took the guns 15, 16 years ago, tripling of your overall violent crime. True, we have a higher gun violence level, but overall muggings, stabbings, deaths, those men raped that woman in India to death with an iron rod 4 feet long. You can't ban the iron rods. The guns, the iron rods, Piers, didn't do it. The tyrants did it. Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. Doesn't matter how many lemmings you get out there on the street begging for them to have their guns taken. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand? That's why you're going to fail, and the establishment knows no matter how much propaganda, the Republic will rise again when you attempt to take our guns. My family in the Texas Revolution against Santa Anna, my family was at the core on both sides starting that, because Santa Anna came to take the guns at Gonzales, Texas. Piers, don't try what your ancestors did before. Why don't you come to America? I'll take you out shooting. You can become an American and join the Republic.
You finished?
Yes, I am finished. You will not take my right. You go through background checks to get guns. How about Prozac? You know the number, oh, that's the big sponsor, isn't it? Or that whole class of drugs.
Let me ask you a question.
Oh, gotta cut that off, don't you? Don't want to talk about the U.S. #1 cause of death is suicide. now because they give people suicide mass murder pills.
Calm down.
Your answer is give more money to the psychiatrist and psychologist to put more crazy people on drugs that make them kill people, Piers.
Let's try and have a debate here.
Yeah.
Answer me this question.
I'm sick of the same old script here, bud.
It's fine, Bud. How many gun murders were there in America last year? Do you know?
There were about 11,458, and about 74% of those were gang-related, gangbangers shooting each other. You get 3,500 to 4,000. How many people died from infections in hospitals? 197,000. That's right.
How many gun murders were there in Britain?
How many great white sharks
How many
kill people every year, but they're scared to swim?
Right. How many gun murders were there in Britain?
A very low amount. I already went over those
How many?
statistics.
Did you know?
It was only a few hundred.
No. How many gun murders?
I actually did pull up statistics. Here, let me pull them out right here. I figured you'd do that.
Gun murders.
Oh, wait.
last year.
UK violent crime capital of Europe. London Telegraph. Here, let me give you a
Simple question.
Well, that's the old, that's the old interrogation tactic to ask me some little factoid.
So that's a little fact.
I already said earlier,
talking about
England has a
country.
lot lower gun crime rate because you took all the guns.
Let me try exactly
But you've got hordes of people burning down cities and beating old women's brains out every day.
What a ridiculous
They arrest people in England if they defend themselves. That's on record. My God, you've got a total police state. Everybody's fleeing that country because you had to flee here, bud. Why don't you tell folks? Yeah, you fled here. Why don't you go back and face the charges on the hacking scandal?
Answer this question. How many
Why'd you get fired from the Daily Mirror for putting out fake stories? You're a hatchet man of the New World Order. You're a hatchet man. And I want to say this right here. Do you think you're a tough guy? Well, have me back with a boxing ring in here, and I'll wear red, white, and blue, and you can wear your Jolly Roger.
Okay.
You know what?
Let's try again. How many gun murders were there
Oh, you're gonna ban your fist now?
in Britain last year?
How many chimpanzees can dance on the head of a pin? I already went over those.
Do you know the answer?
No, I don't.
You said 100.
It's very low.
You said 100.
Yes.
It's actually 35.
Well, the point is, you can
Against 11,000. Do you understand the difference in 11,000?
Yeah, England
and
wants to
35?
ban knives now because tens of thousands are getting stabbed.
But do you understand
ban
the
knives?
difference?
The knife doesn't kill people.
Do you
The gun
understand?
doesn't kill people.
Yes.
But
Do you understand?
do you understand you're not just pulling America's heartstrings, they know your script, okay? You're not going to get our guns. By the way, you guys always say, we just want to take the semi-autos, okay, and all this other stuff. When semi-autos aren't even, rifles aren't even used, but in a fraction of the crimes, you can pull those numbers up, okay? No, hold on.
So let me ask you one question. Which weapon